Welcome everybody to Jayhawk Linn High School, where tonight St. Paul takes on Jayhawk Linn. Oh, there we go, Mike. You didn't have one to switch. As we are up and running, a little bit late start here, about 1 minute until tip-off, so we're going to get underway. Just a girls game here tonight, as girls take action against Jayhawk Linn. And the reason for just the girls game is the boys play tomorrow night at home. We got a bad echo. If we can, Dana, if you can help us out there. And we're getting set for tip-off here. And here's the national anthem. We'll take a short break for the national anthem. As the national anthem is done and over with, we're going to go over starting lineups here for each team, where St. Paul Lady Indians take the floor against Jayhawk Linn here tonight. Look for it to be a good matchup as we are roll right into regionals play this week, Mike.
Yeah, we got kind of sidetracked by the weather last week. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem this week, but either way, we made it up here to Jayhawk Linn almost a little bit late, but we're going to get it here in time for the start of the game. Should be a good game tonight against these lady Jayhawks.
Number 11, whoops, St. Paul won't go very far with that here. Lady Hawks, the Jayhawk Linn Lady Hawks. Emily Nation, a 5'9" sophomore, gets the start for Jayhawk Linn. Second starter, number 15, Kate Dawson, the 5'4" junior, gets start for the Lady Hawks. Number 23, Galber, a 5'7" senior, Katie Gebauer, gets the start. Number 25, Riley Wilson, a 5'8" senior for Jayhawk Linn. I'll go over the Indians lineup here in just a second. Right now on the floor so far. And then last but not least for Jayhawk Linn, number 40, Coleman, a 5'5" senior. So senior loaded team for Jayhawk Linn. For the Lady Indians, it's going to be Katie Carter, Taylor Watrick, Sydney McCracken, Emily Hutcherson, and I believe the last was, let me look here as everybody gets up and they take the floor, Emerald Struthers, I believe, was the last starter for the Indians as we get set. The Indians back to snowouts again. Had a busy schedule set for last week, Mike, but Friday's Yates Center game and Saturday's makeup with Altoona Midway both got canceled. There will be not any more makeups after tonight because we roll right into regional play. No time left, so Indians going to lack a couple games of getting their whole schedule in, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those years where, one of the games was homecoming, so I don't know if we'll get homecoming in. One was senior night, and it makes it pretty tough to get all that stuff in, especially when you get down towards the end of the season.
I think they may be going to do senior night tomorrow night, either before or after the boys' game. It's supposed to be a 7 o'clock tip-off game with Altoona Midway as a first round of regional start for the boys' action. And we are underway here at Jayhawk Linn. And Katie Coombe controls the tip back to Watrick for the Lady Indians. Watrick to Sydney McCracken to start the game to Emerald Struthers. Up above, man-to-man defense applied by the Lady Hawks. Look for, and the ball gets away from McCracken for a minute. She regroups with the 5 game going on. Everybody outside the paint. Emerald Struther crosses over to free throw line, kicks it over to Watrick at the right wing position. A sagging man-to-man defense, a lot of help down underneath. They're giving a lot of attention to Katie Coombs down there on the block. And Hutcherson on a good cut by Coombs, layup good. Good cut, good look by Emily Hutcherson into Katie Coombs, and the Indians start with a 2-0 lead. We see, Mike, our last game was Tuesday night, and Tuesday night we made the big road trip to West Elk, right?
Yeah, we've been on the road, it seems like, all the time the last week or two, even with the games they didn't have. So
foul called as number 15 drives to the basket. That is Dawson. And there was two good ball games to watch against West Elk. The girls' game was really good, fun to watch. Pretty sloppy the first half by the Lady Indians. Pretty identical teams as far as good defense, good man-to-man defense, and good guards and good posts. Just a nice matchup for the Lady Indians where they end up coming out with a victory in that game, and then the boys followed it up with a nice victory against West Elk. Jayhawks basketball off the foul on the floor. Up at the top of the key, number 23 has it. Gebauer drives against Hutcherson, now loses out of bounds. It's knocked out by Emily Hutcherson, so it'll stay with the Lady Hawks.
That first foul is on Sydney McCracken. That's first team foul, first on Sydney.
Jayhawks ball under their own basket. Number 15 set to put the ball in play. That's Dawson. Finally do get it in to Gebauer. Gebauer dribbles back up towards the top of the key. Emily Hutcherson picks her up out there. Looks like a favorable matchup for the Lady Indians. Dawson drives into the lane. She loses it on the floor. And now Coombs after it. Now Jayhawk Linn ends up chasing it down. Gebauer drives the baseline. She's cut off, throws it out of bounds. So turnover against Jayhawk Linn. Gives it back to the Lady Indians. Lady Indians lead 2-0, 6:26 left to go here in the first quarter. Early start, 5:30 game in this makeup game against Jayhawk Linn. As the St. Paul Lady Indians drew a bye in regionals, so they don't play until Thursday night. The boys play opening round game. They're the 3 seed in our region, and they play Altoona Midway, opening seed in regionals. Top 2 teams out of regionals both advance to sub-state, so the Lady Indians and boys are going to try to make their way to sub-state. Quite frankly, the Lady Indians, there's a whistle away from the ball, and it's going to be, I'm not sure what the call was. It wasn't a foul. Must have been 3 seconds in the lane would be my guess on Coombs. Turnover gives it back to Jayhawk Linn. Jayhawk Lynn's basketball. Number 23, Gebauer with it. Gebauer dribbles against Hutcherson. Dribbles to her right. Gets it off to Dawson. Dawson back up towards the top of the key. Watrick all over her. She picks up her dribble now. Lob inside. Too high and out of bounds. Off the fingertips of Nation. So it goes back to the Lady Indians. So St. Paul boys, St. Paul girls come in as a 1 seed in regional. The boys come in as a 3 seed. So they have to play Altoona Midway an open round game. It's going to be harder for the boys to make it through regionals as it is the girls. By looking at records, the girls got a real good chance of making it on sub-state. And that's going to be a Travels. Nation tried to get up with the ball on the turnover by the Indians. Sydney McCracken lost it. Nation ended up with it, but she's on a knee, and when she stood up, traveling violation, so it goes back to Lady Indians.
Indians caught a break there, getting the ball back.
Lob back into Watrick. Pretty good man-to-man defense by Jayhawk Linn. We'll see how the Indians can adjust to it. It's 2-0. Indians lead. Now Watrick gets ran into and loses the ball, but picks it back up. Now she drives in, kicks it out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson, good, too high over the head of, but chased down by McCracken over the head of Katie Coombs, and then they promptly tipped out of bounds by Jayhawk Linn, so it'll stay with the Lady Indians. We'll go over the regional action here at halftime when we get a chance here, as we are up and running. I'm glad everybody could join us on live and on the live stream, and we'll have good live stream coverage for you. Emily Hutcherson crosses over to the rim, left-hand layup, no good. That's going to be a foul on Watrick as the ball goes out of bounds, as we will have live stream action all through regional play for girls and boys. So tune in tomorrow night to catch the boys action.
There'll be a lot of basketball this week, Dan, one way or the other.
One way or another, whether or not, it's going to get in this week somehow, some way, because you roll right into sub-state the next week. So whether, we hope it's not an issue. We'll see what happens tomorrow in the opening round games. Almost a double dribble by Gebauer, but she picks it up. Now she hands it back in Gebauer's hands. Wilson had it for a second. She handed it right back to Gebauer. Now Wilson with it. Top of the key to Dawson. Dawson with the ball fake. Drives to her left. Gebauer now with it. Left wing. Dribbles towards the top of the key. Hutcherson picks her up. Now she swings it off to Dawson. Dawson down the baseline. Kicks it back over to Coleman. Coleman up top, three-point shot on the way. No good. And there's going to be a jump ball as Gabar and Watrick gets tied up with it.
Got Bradshaw and Doherty checking in for Sydney McCracken and Taylor Watrick. Watrick getting a break here early on.
Katie Carter.
Katie Carter, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Katie Carter checks in, so 3 Indians in, 3 Indians out. So here we go with the inbounds. Jayhawk Linn with the basketball. Number 1, also Carpenter in for Jayhawk. She gets it back to Gebauer, top of the key. Emily Hutcherson still in there on Gebauer. Kicks it off to Dawson. Dawson holds the ball over her head. Elise Doherty on her. She drives dry to baseline. She's cut off. Now she picks up her dribble. Now up towards the top of the key. Ball's loose on the floor. Claire Bradshaw gets after it and tips it back to Katie Carter. Good hustle by Claire Bradshaw. Now in Hutcherson's hands all the way inside. And she loses it but kicks it off to Doherty. Now Bradshaw, wide open three-point shot. Off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound, Jayhawk Linn. Gebauer with it. She pushes the ball right back down the floor for Jayhawk Linn. Hutcherson gets back, cuts her off, swings it over to Nation. Nation down to the corner to Carpenter. Now back up top to Gebauer. Gebauer feeds it off to Coleman. Coleman's shot on the way, no good. Rebounds loose on the floor, and it ends up in Gebauer's hands. Three-point shot by her, short, no good. Emily Hutcherson with it. Hutcherson pushes the ball down the floor. Gebauer hustles back. Hutcherson's left-hand layup, good. She's fouled. Good hustle by Hutcherson, pushing that ball down with her left hand. She gets the tough shot to go, and she's going to go to the foul line to try to complete the and one.
You knew with Hutcherson taking off down that fast break one-on-one, she was going to go to the basket. She does a pretty good job of getting in there and drawing that foul. Got the shot to go too.
Her free throw is on its way, and no good. Rebound comes to Jayhawk Linn. Jayhawk Linn basketball. They come back down with it. Now Carpenter in the corner, back up top. Now pass, cross-court pass to number 11, back in the game's Nation. Shot, turnaround shot up on its way, no good. That shot taken by Coleman. Rebound comes out to the Indians. Shot on the way, no good. And tipped out of bounds. Going to be out on the Lady Indians. Going to go back to Jayhawk Linn.
Elise Doherty put that shot up from the left side of the basket there. I think she was a little bit deep and just a little bit behind the backboard. Had a bad angle on it.
Jayhawk Linn basketball. Brown back in the game with the ball. She's guarded out there by Hutcherson. Now steal by Carter. Carter pushes the ball across half court. Now she holds up. She looks in at Bradshaw. Oh, Bradshaw finally gets a handle on it. Picks up her dribble. Swings it off to Hutcherson. Indians need to kind of regroup here. Hutcherson dribbles to her left. Now to her right. Down the baseline. Floater on the way. No good. She gets her own rebound. Bounce pass inside to Doherty. Doherty's shot partially blocked. Knocked back. Jayhawk Linn basketball. They bring the ball down the court. Up to top of the key. With the basketball is Brownback. Brownback swings it off to Nation. Nation holds it, guarded by Elise Doherty. Now, bad pass, errant pass, goes into the backcourt. And it's going to go back to the Lady Indians off the turnover as Gebauer checks right back into the game, the 5'7" senior for Jayhawk Linn.
That's going to be 6 turnovers on the Lady Jayhawks already here in the first quarter.
Emily Katie Carter set to put the ball in play, feeds it into Hutcherson. Hutcherson dribbles to her left, feeds it back to Sydney McCracken. Now up top to Katie Carter, over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw to the elbow, kicks it out to Doherty, over to Hutcherson at right wing. Up top to Sydney McCracken, reverses it back to Hutcherson, lob inside to Bradshaw. Bradshaw, foul on the floor, I didn't see it. Foul on the floor against Bradshaw to be Lady Indians basketball. Second team foul on the Jayhawk Linn. First on number 24. Aubrey Nation, the 5'7" junior. Bradshaw tries to put it in play, and it's going to be out as it's tipped out and touched Bradshaw. So bad pass by Bradshaw. Turnover goes right back to Jayhawk Linn. St. Paul leads 4-0. 1:39 left to go here in the first period. Gebauer with the basketball for Jayhawk Linn. Down to the corner to Nation. Nation holds the ball against Doherty. Bounce pass inside, stolen away by Hutcherson in the lane. Hutcherson splits the defender all the way down, right-handed layup, good. Emily Hutcherson with 4 of the Indians, 6 points off of fast breaks and steals, so good job by her as Gebauer comes right back down with the basketball for the Lady Hawks. Bounce pass over now, it's stolen by McCracken. McCracken tries to get the handle on it, finally does, feeds it to Hutcherson. Hutcherson sets the offense from the top of the key. Back-to-back steals by the Indians. Let's see if they can execute something on offense here. Coombs with it, looks inside, nobody open, feeds it off to Bradshaw. Bradshaw ball fake into the elbow. She's tripped hard. To the floor she goes. Up off the floor, she's fine, but she's fouled on the floor. Third team foul by Jayhawk Linn.
That's the second on Nation.
As Dawson checks back in the game, as well as Coleman for Jayhawk Linn. Claire Bradshaw set to put the ball in play for the Lady Indians into the basket. Good inbound play, but Hutcherson misses the layup as she shrieked down the left side of the lane, wide open. She misses the layup. Rebound comes out to the Lady Hawks. Gebauer with it, feeds it off to Nation. Nation at left wing, holds the ball, feeds it up top to Dawson, who's back into the game. She's picked up by Katie Carter. Swings it off to the right wing to Gebauer. Gebauer up top to Nation. Back to Dawson. 2 Nations in the game right now for Jayhawk Linn. Bounce pass inside to Coleman, and it's going to be a trip on the Lady Indians. I think it's going to be on Sydney McCracken against Dawson. As Coleman set to put the ball in play, Emily Nation set to put the ball in play for the Lady Hawks. Looks inside, feeds it back into Wilson. Wilson up top to Dawson. Dawson picked up out there by Katie Carter. Back to Gebauer. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Shot on its way. Three-pointer, no good. Out of bounds, and that's the end of the first quarter. End of the first quarter score. Lady Indians 6, Lady Hawks 0. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. You want out? Welcome back to Jayhawk Linn High School, home of the Lady Hawks, where St. Paul leads after the first quarter 6-0. 8 minutes on the clock. Lady Indians basketball to start the second quarter. Ashlyn Gaiman, Emerald Struthers, Claire Bradshaw, Taylor Watrick, and Katie Coombs all in the game for the Lady Indians. Watrick with the basketball, crosses half court, picked up by Dawson. Feeds it over to Gaiman at left wing. Gaiman up top to Bradshaw. Over to Struthers at left wing. Struthers dribbles to her right, picks up her dribble to free throw line, kicks it to Gaiman. Gaiman feeds it into Coombs. Coombs fouled on the shot, as when she turned around, she was hammered, so she'll go to the line to shoot two. She just lunged up a shot, somebody dragging all over her arm.
That was Gebauer. That's her second foul, team 4.
Fourth team foul on Jayhawk Linn, 3 on the Lady Indians. Coombs at the line to shoot two. First free throw right through there. And good. The Indians have struggled offensively on putting points to the board against good defensive teams. Very patient on offense. Against West Elk the other night in the first quarter and a half, they just had entirely way too many turnovers. I think the first 6-7 possessions of the game all resulted in turnovers by the Lady Indians. So at times, the Lady Indians, their nemesis has always been, there's a travel on Jayhawk Linn. Their nemesis hasn't been their defense. Their defense usually very good. It's They're scoring on offense with all the young players they have. St. Paul basketball, they lead 8-0 to Jayhawk Linn. 7:36 left to go here in the second period. Jayhawk Linn defense, pretty good man-to-man defense by Jayhawk Linn. The Indians very patient on offense. Claire Bradshaw, top of the key, feeds it over to Coombs. Coombs holds it, kicks it up top to Gaiman. Gaiman right back to Coombs. Now inside to Bradshaw. Bradshaw in the lane, all kinds of traffic. Shot blocked by Nation. And it ends up in Jayhawk Linn. Nation brings the ball down the floor, feeds it off to Dawson. Dawson to the free throw line. Now it gets tipped away by Wattrick, but ends up back in her hands. Shot on the way by Carpenter. Short, no good. Rebound to Ashlyn Gaiman. Feeds it off to Claire Bradshaw. Bradshaw pushes the ball down the floor, and she runs into traffic. It's going to be a block on number 1 for Jayhawk Linn. Carpenter, boy, she had Emerald Struthers, Mike, across the lane. She didn't see her. Bradshaw draws a contact. 5th team foul on Jayhawk Linn. First on Candace Carpenter. St. Paul basketball under their own rim. Wattrick set to put the ball in play. Right there's Bradshaw. Good feed to Coombs on the backside cut, and she scores from the left block. Lady Indians lead 10-0. 6:44 left to go here in the second period.
Be another turnover as the ball rolls out of bounds there. That'd be 9. No, take that back. That's 10 turnovers for Jayhawk Linn here in the first half. So really struggling. Good job on the defense, but Jayhawk Linn struggling keeping the ball.
St. Paul basketball. 6:30 left to go in the first half. Bounce pass over to Coombs. Coombs holds it at the baseline, feeds it off to Claire Bradshaw. Bradshaw into the lane, shot up, no good. Rebound comes out to Jayhawk Linn. Right back down the ball comes number 20, Brownback with the ball. She feeds it off to Carpenter. Now back to Brownback, shot on the way, no good. Rebound backside, Jayhawk Linn. Rebound again, Nation. Or not Nation, excuse me, that's Coleman, and she's fouled, so she'll go to the line and shoot 2. So the Indians, not doing a good job of boxing out, is going to send Coleman to the line to shoot 2 for Jayhawk Linn.
A big foul called on Katie Coombs, her first.
Alyssa Coleman at the line to shoot 2. Left-handed shots on its way off, no good. As Elise Doherty checks back into the game for the Lady Indians. She's going to check in for Bradshaw. So on the floor for the Indians right now, Struthers, Bradshaw, Gaiman, Coombs, and Wattrick. 6:09 left to go in the first half. St. Paul leads 10-0 as Coleman misses her second. Rebound comes right back to her, and they score as nobody blocks her out at the free throw line. Coach Tuck not happy about that. Nobody putting a backside onto the free throw shooter. Wattrick in lane, backdoor pass to Coombs. Jump shot off, no good. Wattrick with the rebound. Put back, no good, but she's fouled. Good pass as Wattrick drove in, got Coombs standing at the baseline, about a 10-foot jump shot. She misses it, but Wattrick on the weak side gets the rebound, and she's fouled on the putback. So Wattrick to the line to shoot 2. First free throw on its way, good, as Taylor has struggled from the free throw line the last couple games and really made some down the stretch against West Elk, a very good West Elk team. So hopefully she's over that free throw funk, and she's made 2 in a row right here. So a little confidence back in her stroke from the free throw line. Brownback back down with the basketball for the Lady Hawks. Feeds it off to Wilson. Now back to Brownback. She's cut off by Struthers. Looks inside. Now, they're going to call a foul on Emerald Struthers. Kind of a touch foul on the pass. Looked like a good, got her hand in there in the passing lane. They're going to call foul on her. First on her. 15th foul on the Lady Indians. 6 on the Lady Hawks. Dawson set to put the ball in play, gets it into Brownback, looks back into Dawson, into traffic, stolen by Gaiman. Gaiman loses it. Boy, she should get away with a double dribble right there. She drives down towards the baseline, kicks it up to Struthers, all the way across to Wattrick. Wattrick dribbles in the lane, shot on the way, no good, too hard. Rebound is chased down by Struthers. Good hands as she stole it out of Dawson's hand. Coombs up to Wattrick. In this 5-game, Mike, Wattrick's drove in there a couple times. We have no rebounder, so you either make the shot, and there's a charge on Wattrick as she drove in the lane again, and number 20, Brownback, the 5'3 freshman, steps in, takes the charge. That's Wattrick's second foul with 5:08 left to go in the second, so she'll come out as Emily Hutcherson checks in, as well as Katie Carter checks in for Struthers. Indians lead 12-2, 5:08 left to go here in the first half. Dawson with the basketball. Feeds it off to the left wing to Nation. Nation back up top to Carpenter, and now there's a travel against Carpenter. Going to give it right back to the Lady Indians. Emily Hutcherson with the basketball for the Lady Indians. Right wing with it. Kicks it up top to Carter. Now over to Gaiman. Gaiman holds it. Feeds it up to Hutcherson. Hutcherson holds it now. Feed into Coombs at the right block. Block trying to power away in there. Does. Gets a shot up and to go. Nice move by Coombs in traffic. And she gets it up and under to go. And Indians lead 14-2. Dawson right back down with the basketball. Feeds it off to Nation. Nation gets it stolen by Katie Coombs. Coombs loses it now. Tips it back to Emily Hutcherson. Hutcherson crosses over. Might have got away with a little bit of a carry there. Kicks it back out to Carter. Carter reverses it back. Now pass inside to Coombs. Beautiful pass. Misses it. And it's going to be out on the Indians. Go back to Jayhawk Linn. Boy, Katie going to regret missing that one. It was a right beautiful pass, entry pass as Coombs had position, but she missed a little bunny layup shot. 30-second timeout. Jayhawk Linn will be back after this 30-second timeout. You listen to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Oh, welcome back to Jayhawk Linn. St. Paul leads 14-2 about halfway through the second quarter. Pretty good quarter and a half put together by the Lady Indians, Mike, especially defensively.
Yeah, defense has really been their strength, especially with all the turnovers. Jayhawk Linn limited to 2 points, had a lot of shots. This couldn't get anything to fall.
Dawson with the basketball for Jayhawk Linn. She swings it all over to Nation, Aubrey Nation. Boy, she gives Hutcherson a couple bumps and gets her out of the way. Now ball's loose on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to stay with the Lady Hawks. Alyssa Coleman checks back into the game, 5'5", senior for the Lady Hawks. And she's going to come in for Aubrey Nation. Nation is a 5'7" junior. Inbounds play. Now ball's loose on the floor again. Another jump ball. And that possession area is going to go to the Lady Indians. A good hands by the Lady Indians tying the basketball up. As St. Paul basketball is Doherty feeds it into Hutcherson. Doherty, Gaiman, Hutcherson, Carter, and Coombs in the game for the Lady Indians. Hutcherson swings it over to the left wing to Gaiman. Gaiman, bad pass, but Coombs ends up with it. Dribbles to her left, kicks it back to Gaiman. Three-point shot by Gaiman. Ooh, looked good, but long. Hutcherson with the rebound. Put back, no good. Tipped around. Now Doherty chasing it. Tips it back to Carter. Carter drives to the right. As she resets, feeds it off to Doherty. Doherty to Hutcherson. Hutcherson into the lane. Shot up. No good, but she's fouled.
Good move by Hutcherson. She saw an open lane all the way to the basket, took advantage of it.
Good hands by the Lady Indians, Mike, going after them loose balls, and then on the rebounds, kind of knocking it out of the Lady Hawks' hands every once in a while and really chasing it down. That was a hustle play that kept that possession with the Lady Indians by Doherty. Hutcherson first shot long off the back iron, no good, as Claire Bradshaw checks in for Ashlyn Gaiman. As Hutcherson settles in for her second free throw. It's on its way short, and rebound comes out to Dawson. Dawson pushes the ball down. Bradshaw tries to cut her off. She drives the baseline, loses it out of bounds. Another turnover on the Lady Hawks, and it goes back to the Lady Indians as Raquel Brownback, the 5'3" freshman, check back in for the Lady Hawks. She checks in for Candace Carpenter, the 5'4" sophomore. 3:14 left to go in the first half. 14-2, Lady Indians up by 12. Pass stolen away by Nation. Bad pass by Elise Doherty. Didn't get it over the head of a Nation. Now, nobody back for the Indians. Layup up and in. Put up and in there. Somebody as Jaden McGinnis checks into the game, and I don't think the Lady Indians picked her up. Nobody knew who it was. She was standing underneath the basket by herself, and she scores. Now Hutcherson loses it off the foot of Guinness. And it's a turnover and goes back to the Lady Hawks.
Indians get a little sloppy here late in the
Doherty with a nice steal. She's strapped in the corner by Nation, though, and now Nation just takes it away from her. And now it's going to be a foul on Elise Doherty as a little more. She needs to be a little more physical in that corner against the senior and end up getting it taken away from her and then fouls her, and she's going to go to the free throw line and shoot the 1-and-1. So Doherty with a good hustle foul to retrieve the ball in the corner, but she had the ball way up high, and instead of dribbling around Nation trying to get around her, she tried to pass over the top. Nation took it right out of her hands, and then Doherty fouled her. As Mr. Tuck's telling her exactly that. Next time, drop down and go around her when she's all over you like that, instead of trying to hold the ball up high where she can grab it from you. As Nation makes the first free throw, and all of a sudden it's just 14-5, a 9-point lead for the Indians. Nation settles in for a second, the 5'9" sophomore for the Lady Hawks. It's on its way and in there. 4-point run by the Lady Hawks cuts the lead to 14-12. Lady Indians up by 8. Bradshaw with it, kicks it out to Struthers. Struthers up top to Hutcherson. Hutcherson holds the ball to top of the key, looks inside, feeds it to Coombs. Coombs at the right wing, cross-court pass over to Struthers. Struthers with a couple ball fakes into the lane, jump shot on the way too hard, no good. Number 40 Coleman with the rebound. Dawson right back down with the ball, pulls back at the three-point line, kicks it to Coleman. Coleman guarded by Coons, back to Dawson as she resets at the top of the key. 2:02 left to go in the first half. 14-6, Lady Indians lead. Coleman lob inside the Nation, shot up on its way and good as Emily Hutcherson went up and over the top instead of staying on her feet. And all of a sudden it's just a 6-point lead for the Lady Indians, and that's going to be a carry on Emily Hutcherson as she brings the ball down the floor. And another turnover on the Lady Indians. Gives it right back to Jayhawk Linn.
Sometimes you get a little comfortable, and that's when you start to make some mental mistakes. That's kind of what we saw there, I think.
Started with Doherty getting trapped in the corner and then fouling, and it's a 4-0 run. Could be a 6-0 run. Nation with the basketball. Feeds it cross court. Guinness's hands. Guinness's jump shot on the way. Short, no good. Carter with the rebound for the Indians. Carter feeds it back to Emily Hutcherson. Hutcherson back down with the basketball. Crosses over into the lane. Feeds it to Coombs. Coombs shot up. No good. Fights for her own rebound. Now she gets tied up. Now it's going to be a foul underneath. And she's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Boy, Katie has missed a couple shots from that right block. That one was in a lot more traffic. Had a good look at it. Great pass inside by Hutcherson. And Katie Coombs goes to the line to shoot 2 with 1:25 left to go in the second quarter. 8th team foul on the Lady Hawks. First on Coleman, the 5'5" senior, and Coombs makes her first free throw. Dawson right back into the game for the Lady Hawks. Coombs at the line for her second. It's on its way and right through there. So St. Paul gets back on the board. They lead by 8, 1:23 left to go. See what the Indians can do in the last minute 20 in the half. See if they can get some hustle fouls and some rebounds. Right wing off the Brownback. Brownback shot in, no good, but she's fouled as Katie Carter let her get to the baseline. And now she's going to go to the line to shoot 2. And that's the 8th team foul on the Lady Indians. As number 25, Rayleigh Wilson, the 5'8" senior, checks in for the Hawks. Are going to check in after the first shot. Free throw. The 5'3" freshman at the line to shoot 2. That's a first foul on Emily Hutcherson. 8th team foul on the Lady Indians. First free throw off the side iron. No good. As Wilson checks into the game for number 32, McGinnis. Second shot on its way, and in and out, no good. Rebound comes to Carpenter. Put back, no good. Rebound, put back, no good again, and Coombs finally clears the board. Second put back by Coleman, no good. Hutcherson streaks down the floor, kicks it out to Bradshaw. Bradshaw into the lane, jump shot on the way off the backboard, no good. Gets her own rebound, put back, no good. Rebound comes out to Coleman for the Lady Hawks. Under a minute left to go. Dawson right back down with the basketball, loses it, Now she retrieves it, kicks it off to Carpenter, all the way around to Brownback. Brownback lobs it inside, tipped away by Coombs, ends up in Brownback's hand. Cross court backdoor feed to Carpenter, shot up, no good. Coombs with the rebound. Oh boy.
Jeez,
holy
no foul
cow.
on that.
To Katie
rough.
Coombs, and all the way down comes Bradshaw. Backdoor pass to Struthers. Struthers chases it down. 25 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Coombs with it. Kicks it out to Hutcherson. Long three-point shot by her. No good. Struthers with the rebound. Putback's good. She's fouled. Good work on the boards by the Lady Indians. Yeah, down there on the other end, Coombs and Brownback got tangled up with the basketball. You thought it would have been a jump ball. They never called it. Coombs ripped it away. Brownback slid across the floor, and Coombs finally just kind of shoveled the pass as she was losing it out of her hands. It's holy cow, how's that not a foul or a jump
It's
ball?
foul on somebody.
Struthers goes to the line, try to complete the and one. So good work under the boards by the young freshman, off the couple misses by the Lady Indians. Struthers free throw high, bouncing, no good, off the rim. Comes back to Struthers off a tip from Bradshaw, but then ends up in Gebauer's hands for the Lady Hawks. 9 seconds left to go in the first half. Dawson with it, ball fake, tries to drive the baseline, step back 15-footer short. Hutcherson with the rebound, and that's going to be the end of the first half. And the Lady Indians are going to lead 18-8. We'll be back with our Labette Health halftime show after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Jayhawk Linn High School, where the St. Paul Lady Indians lead 18-8 here at halftime. Pretty good first half defensively put on by the Lady Indians here, Mike.
Yeah, I think defense was the key to the first half for the Lady Indians. That, as well as the fact that the Jayhawk Linn not able to get anything to fall. A lot of shots put up towards the basket, just couldn't get anything to fall. They had a few times where they were getting second, even a third shot. So if there is a weak spot on the Lady Indians defense, I would say it's not being able to block out underneath and get some of those rebounds, limiting the number of shots, because if they were able to get those shots to fall, we'd have a different ball game for sure. But on the offensive end, Lady Indians struggling really from the field. When you look down through the scoring, just not getting a lot of shots off, and they've missed a few. So they need to really pick up their offensive game, I think, here in the second half. And if Jayhawk Linn comes out here and starts to hit a little bit of a hot streak, it's really going to be up to them to start getting some rebounds on defense.
The only stat I see that I like, Mike, is the rebound total. Lady Indians with 15 total rebounds in that first half. That's a pretty good number, but that's kind of indicative of when we look when Mike takes a full look here after the next break. That's kind of indicative of the poor shooting by the Lady Indians. There are plenty of opportunities to get offensive rebounds there. Mike's going to have all of the first half Labette Health halftime stats after this next 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Jayhawk Linn High School and our Labette Health halftime show. Mike, what do you got for the Lady Indians first half stats?
Well, we've seen better halves by the Lady Indians for sure. With 18 points on the board, you like to see them well above that, and we have seen them well above that. But overall, they are able to come in here with a good lead, a nice 10-point lead at halftime, so I shouldn't complain about having a lead for sure. Scoring-wise individually for the Lady Indians, Katie Coombs led the Lady Indians with 10. Emily Hutcherson had 4. Taylor Wattrick and Emerald Struthers both with 2 points each for the Lady Indians in the first half. So shooting-wise, not very good numbers. Coach Tuck definitely probably talking about this in the locker room. 6 of 25 overall for 24% shooting average from the field. Not at all what we're used to. We're used to seeing them at least in the 30%, 30, 35, 40%. So 24% well below what they are accustomed to seeing. 6 of 22 from two-point range, shooting 27% inside the arc. Outside the arc, 0 for 3. Can't get a three-pointer to fall. However, they've only shot 3 times. So been working the ball pretty well inside. It always seems to be the right side down on that right block to Katie Coombs, and it's worked pretty well for him so far. So as long as that's working, there's really not a lot of reason to shoot that outside shot, other than one thing about it, and we've talked about this before with that 4-and-1 with the outside rotation. You don't have much help underneath when you do get those shots.
6 for 11 from the free throw line, 54%, 8 turnovers, 18 fouls, 15 total rebounds, 8 defensively, 7 offensively. So pretty even on the offensive defensive boards. The Indians defense has really led them here in its first half, holding Jayhawk Linn to 8 points there in that first half. But see if the offense will come around here. When you play good defense, usually your defense leads the offense. See if Wattrick maybe get a few more shots. She's 0 for 1 in that first half from the field. Emily Hutcherson just 2 for 8, as Mike alluded to. Coombs 3 for 6, but Katie
perfect from the free throw line.
And
she is
perfect
4
for 4. That's the other part that's not up to snuff. 6 for 11 from the free throw line, so they've just made one more free throw than they've missed at 54%. Hutcherson 0 for 4 from the free throw line. Wattrick and Coombs post perfect. Wattrick 2 for 2, Coombs 4 for 4, and then Struthers the only one with a free throw attempt. We're going to take one more break here before we come back for the second half. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Jayhawk Linn, where the Lady Indians, both teams, back around the coaches, taking the last second instructions here to start this second half. It will be it's going to be Jayhawk Linn's basketball to start this second half, as the Lady Indians lead 18-8 here at halftime over the Lady Hawks. I'm going to try to find some regional action for you to fill in with here, Mike, during the second half. Bring everybody up to snuff exactly what's going on in our regionals this week. Regionals will be held at Chetopa, girls and boys, but the open round games at home. So, Mike, just click on girls or boys. You want to pull them brackets up during the game. Sometimes you get a chance.
Get done here.
All right, 8 minutes on the clock. Jayhawk Linn basketball. Dawson set to put the ball in play for Jayhawk Linn. St. Paul leads 18-8. As we are set for action on the floor for the Indians is Gaiman, Watrick, McCracken, Coombs, and Doherty. Gebauer with the basketball, swings it back over to Dawson at left wing. She looks in at Carpenter, feeds it back up top to Coleman. Coleman off to the right wing to Gebauer, picks up her dribble, throws it in the middle lane, shot on the way, no good, long, off the back iron. Coombs with the rebound. Coombs feeds it off to Watrick. Boy, that could have been a carry on Watrick. Watrick right back to lane, Euro step, crazy left-handed layup, no good. Ball's loose on the floor. Let's see who this is on, as Elise Doherty was in the center of the lane trying to get it. It's going to be on Doherty, I guess.
You know what? I was going to say, Dan, one of the things I noticed about Watrick when she comes down on those fast breaks for those lifts, if she's on the left side of the basket, she comes in, throws that underhand shot up. A lot of times looks kind of wild. On the right side, she's able to go up high with it, but on the left side, it's underhand.
Gebauer with the basketball against Watrick, drives the baseline, screen set by Nation. Back up top, Nation picked up by Watrick now. Now a Carpenter baseline shot, good. Right up and through there is Wilson, not Carpenter, as she gets the first 2 points on the board for either team, and it's an 8-point ball game. Watrick gets back past Dawson, swings it off to McCracken at the right wing position, up top to Doherty. Doherty swings it over to Gaiman. Gaiman dribbles towards the top of the key, gets it to Coombs. Coombs up top to McCracken, looks inside. Now lob inside to Coombs. Coombs spin move, shot way too hard. A rebound comes out to Coleman for Jayhawk Linn. Dawson with it now. Add back to Coleman. Shot up too hard. Gets her own rebound. Nobody blocks her out. Now Coombs gets the second miss and feeds it off to Watrick. Watrick to her right. Feeds it off to Doherty. Back up top to Coombs. Looked at the three. Passed on it. Feeds it back up top to McCracken. Over to Watrick. 6:18 left to go here in the third quarter. St. Paul leads 18-10. Pass into Coombs. Kicks it back to Gaiman. Now back into Coombs. Coombs spins to her right. Shot up way too hard. No good. Out on Jayhawk Linn. It's going to stay with the Lady Indians.
I'd like to see the ladies do something a little bit different than just feeding it into Coombs on the right side every time, Dan.
What do you want them to see do different?
I don't know. Let's move around and try it on the left side for a change.
Mike just wants to see it from left side. Good. There you go. Inbounds pass into McCracken. Boy, how's that not a foul on her arm? Partially blocked by Gebauer. Now Dawson crosses over, cut off at the elbow. Feeds it up top to Wilson. Now Wilson over to Nation. Nation feeds it back to Wilson. Almost a steal by Watrick. Gets it back to Gebauer. Gebauer resets. Top the key above the spiking line. Over the head by a mile. Nation turnover on Jayhawk Linn, gives it by the Lady Indians. I think your point is, Mike, or been with you long enough, that the Indians just struggle on offense, and they're very patient on what they do on offense, but sometimes they really force it in there to Katie whenever everybody's stacked
into they're not looking for some alternative when that's not working for them.
What I'd like to see us do every once in a while is we're plenty athletic enough, is when people are running this 5-game and we're spread out, is to go ahead and drive the basketball to the basket a little more and convert and try to get the fouls. Knocked out of bounds by Jayhawk Linn. Good look into Katie Coombs. That time she cut across on the backdoor feed when the Indians reversed it. Now McCracken into the lane with it. Picks up her dribble, feeds it back to Gaiman. Gaiman feeds it off, bad pass, but Watrick, now it's loose on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to stay with the Lady Indians as jump ball possession arrow goes towards the Lady Indians. As it's going to be St. Paul basketball here when we get set back into play Watrick with the basketball. Looks inside, feeds it out to McCracken. McCracken dribbles towards the top of the key, now towards the right elbow, now backs back out towards the timeline. Reverses it over to Doherty at left wing. Doherty looks to her left, now back up top to Coombs. Coombs over to Watrick. Watrick into the lane to the elbow, back to Coombs at the baseline. Coombs ball fake, throws up a crazy shot, no good, underhanded shot, and that's going to be a foul on St. Paul. It's going to be on Elise Doherty. Second team foul on the Lady Indians this half.
That's the third foul
on Doherty as Brownback checks back into the game.
You know, Brownback just a freshman, but overall she's playing pretty well for the Lady Hawks.
Dawson feeds it into Gebauer. Gebauer, 5'7" senior, gets past Watrick to her left, loses it now, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. And it's going to be out on Gebauer and go back to the Lady Indians. 4 Indians in the scores table. Hutcherson, Carter, Bradshaw, and Struthers all in the game for the Lady Indians. And McCracken will stay in for the Lady Indians, and the rest go out. Somebody else has to come out.
That's right. No, it's not. We got 6 on the floor. There we go.
Yeah, Watrick still has to come out. I was going to say, I'm sure they'll catch us having too many out there. As Hutcherson comes back up for the full court pressure, a little bit of full court pressure applied by Jayhawk Linn, and Hutcherson chases it down on a bad pass by Carter. Now Hutcherson keeps it, dribbles in, layup, no good. She's going to travel. Before she gets it, got hung up in the lane, got her feet tangled up. Travels with the basketball, so turnover goes right back to the Lady Hawks. Gebauer with the basketball. Indians held scoreless so far, almost halfway through this third quarter. 4:30 left to go here in the third quarter. Feed in to Coleman. Coleman back up top. Now to Gebauer. Gebauer baseline jump shot. She's going to be fouled. Going to go to the line to shoot 2. That's the third team foul. It's going to be on Hutcherson, her second. None on the Lady Hawks this half yet. Gebauer at the line to shoot 2. First free throw on its way. Rattles in and out. No good. Gebauer settles in for her second. It's on its way. Gets the high bounce, but it bounces off. No good. Struthers with the rebound. Struther brings it down against Dawson. Crosses to her left, to her right, feeds it off to McCracken. McCracken off to Bradshaw. Bradshaw dribbles to her left, looks inside, bounce pass into Hutcherson. Hutcherson in traffic, bounce pass in front of the lane, and she's going to get fouled. There's the first team foul on the Lady Hawks in this half, and that's going to be on number,
I think it's on Nation 24.
Number 23 on Gebauer, her third. Inbound. Bradshaw under her own basket, set to put it in play. Looks. Now feed into the corner to Struthers. Struthers against Carpenter. Reverses it down to Bradshaw. Bradshaw into the lane, left-handed, or tries to get to the right side. She's fouled. She's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Had a lane on the left side, but she reversed over, tried to get to the right side, ended up on the floor. So Claire Bradshaw is going to go to the line to shoot 2. 3:49 left to go here in the third. And Bradshaw misses the first free throw. The Indians still, good thing they're playing pretty good defense because they have not scored in this quarter. Stuck on 18. Bradshaw, as sub comes in for Jayhawk Linn, halts play for a minute. Bradshaw settles in for a second. Can she break the ice? No. As she misses it, and it's going to be out of bounds on Jayhawk Linn. It's going to stay with the Lady Indians, so they're going to get another opportunity at it. Bradshaw set to put the ball in play for the Lady Indians. Bradshaw holds it, feeds it up right to Dawson for Jayhawks, or Lady Hawks, and then Hutcherson steals it from her, so the Indians get another shot at it. Carter with the basketball up top to Bradshaw. Bradshaw looks inside, feeds it out to Struthers. Now up top to McCracken. Now over to Katie Carter. Carter looks in at McCracken, who went to the block. Dribbles towards the top of the key, reverses it back to Claire Bradshaw at the right wing position. Bradshaw looks in, looks in. Now she drives towards the elbow, kicks it out to Struthers. Struthers feeds it over to McCracken. Very patient offense. McCracken looks towards Bradshaw at the top of the key. Bradshaw crosses over, loses the basketball, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to go right back to Jayhawk Linn.
You know, you can tell a big difference when Coombs is not in there, Dan. They're doing just what you wanted to do, trying to look for a hole and trying to drive the lane a little more. They're definitely not feeding that block like they do when Coombs is down there.
Dawson with the basketball. Lady Indians lead 18-10, 3:02 left to go here in the third. Dawson to her right, cut off by Bradshaw, feeds it back up top to Brownback. Brownback, good pass inside to Carpenter. She misses it, put back, no good. Rebound fought for, it's going to be a tie-up. Carter ends up on the floor with Dawson. It's going to stay with Jayhawk Linn. Great looks at the basket for Jayhawk Linn, just can't convert. Lady Indians getting outplayed on offense so far in this third quarter. Bounce pass inside, and that's going to be out on Jayhawk Linn. It's a good job by McCracken. She knocked the ball as it came in bounds right back to the inbounder.
Somebody got a help.
Brownback, and it's going to be out on her. She didn't get in bounds, establish herself in bounds quick enough. So turnover to Jayhawk Linn, gives it back to Lady Indians. 2:43 left to go in the third. Claire Bradshaw with it, feeds it up top to Struthers. Struthers to McCracken. McCracken about 7 foot outside the three-point line, feeds it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw dribbles towards the elbow, picks up her dribble now. Get a little push off, give herself a little room. McCracken ball fake, drives into the lane. Jump shot on the way, no good. Knocked out on Struthers, goes right back to the Lady Hawks. Indians having a lot of trouble getting a good look at the basket here on offense. 2:20 left to go here in the third. 18-10, Indians up by 8. Dawson with the basketball. Drives to her right, cut off there. Now a lob pass inside to Nation. Nation comes down with it, shot up, she's fouled, she's going to go to the line to shoot 2. No weak side help by the Lady Indians defense. That ball went way over the top of Nation's hand. She was able to go to the weak side of the lane and retrieve it, and then by that time the Indians got there, and a foul sends her to the line to shoot 2. 2:06 left to go in the third. Nation's first shot on the way, in and out, no good. Thank goodness Jayhawk Linn shoot poorly from the free throw line also,
sure.
or it would be a tie, or they would have the lead by now. They've shot quite a few free throws and shooting fairly poorly from the free throw line. Nation at the line to shoot her second. Indians up by 8, 18-10. Second free throw on its way. She gets the roll over the front of the iron, and it goes. 7-point lead for the Lady Indians. 4 subs in the game for the Indians. Hutcherson, Gaiman, Coombs, Wattrick, and Elise Doherty. Wattrick holds the ball, guarded out there by Carpenter. Or Brownback, excuse me. Now backdoor cut by Hutcherson, shot up, no good, short. Rebound comes out to Carpenter for Jayhawk Linn. She feeds it back to Dawson. Dawson's picked up by Gaiman. Crosses over to her left, feeds it to the left wing. Over there to Wilson. Now down to the baseline, tries a weak pass. Wattrick steals it away. She feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson pushes the ball down for the Lady Indians. Euro step, layup, no good. Coombs with the rebound, put back, good. So the Indians finally get on the board in the third quarter with 1:18 left to go in the third. Good trailing offense by Coombs. Dawson crosses over against Gaiman to the right, to the left. Feeds it off to Wilson. Wilson holds it. Now pass into Nation. Jump shot from the baseline. Good. Too much room left for Emily Nation, the sophomore. And she cans it. Little 12-footer.
Nation got 7 of 11 points or 13 for the
Wattrick
Hawks.
feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson, good crossover. Look, now she's fouled in front of the rim. Good crossover by Emily Hutcherson going into the lane. And she's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. Hutcherson 0 for 4 in that first half from the foul line. Let's see if she can clean that up here in the second half with 45.3 seconds left to go to third. Indians up by 7, 20-3. 13, In and out by Hutcherson. She sets 0 for 5 from the foul line. As number 12, Holt, checks in for the first time for the Lady Hawks. as well as Coleman, the 5'5 senior, checks back in. Hutcherson at the line for her second. It's on its way off the back iron. No good. So 0 for 6 from the foul line is Emily Hutcherson. Brown back down to the baseline, now top to Nation. Nation drives to her right, loses it on the ground, but Holt chases it down. Holt back up to Coleman. Coleman feeds it back to Brown back, now back to Holt, now to Nation. Nation drives towards the baseline. Boy, making her own room against Coombs. Shot no good. Hutcherson with the rebound.
Just can't get a basket.
Feeds it off to Watrick. Watrick drives towards the baseline. Layup, good by Taylor Watrick. Good drive. 22-13. 8 seconds left to go in the third. Brown back with the basketball. Loses it with her left hand. Chases it down. Throws up a shot, but she's going to get called for the travel. And that's the end of the third quarter. Lady Indians lead 22-13 by 9 after 3. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Jayhawk Linn High School. St. Paul leads 22-13 by 9 at the end of the third quarter.
Well, a rough third quarter for the Lady Indians. Only 4 points on the board, Dan.
And they scored them 4 with about 2 minutes left in the first half. Watrick with the basketball. Feeds it off to Gaiman. Gaiman to Doherty. Doherty over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw holds it, feeds it up top to Watrick. Watrick over to Lise Doherty at left wing, back up top to Gaiman, now over to Coombs. Coombs holds it down low, feeds it to Bradshaw at the elbow, crosses over into the lane, kicks it out to Gaiman, up top to Coombs. 3-point shot, top of the key, good! Katie Coombs buries a 3 from the top of the key, about a foot outside the arc, and gives the Indians a 12-point lead, 25-13. Gebauer right back down with the basketball for the Lady Hawks. Guarded out there by Watrick. Picks up her dribble, now feeds it off. Now pass inside the Nation, tipped away by Doherty and chased down by Bradshaw. Bradshaw pushes the ball down the right-hand side of the floor. Gebauer on her, layup, good. Oh, no, she missed it. Thought it was rolled in, it rolled off the rim short. Gebauer with the rebound. She pushes it back down for the Lady Hawks.
Bradshaw
cut off by Watrick. Good cut off by Watrick. Good hustle back. Feed inside the Nation. Ball fake, shot up, no good. Short. Coombs comes out there with it. Feeds it back to Watrick. Back and forth we go in this fourth quarter. Indians lead by 12. Watrick gets back Dawson. Watrick in. Layup. Good. Good drive. Katie Coombs got to set a screen for her as timeout. Jayhawk Linn. And we're going to go ahead and stay here because I want to go with the regional action for you. 27-13. Lady Indians up by 12. 6:33 left to go in the game. Timeout, Jayhawk Linn. Regionals is hosted, 1A Regionals, our regional is hosted by Chetopa this year, but the opening round games are at home. St. Paul Lady Indians come in as the number 1 seed at 14-4, so they drew an opening round bye. So the Lady Indians won't play again until Thursday night. That's to be date or time to be announced. They will play either the number 4 seed, Dexter Cedarville, who comes in as a 4 seed at 3-14, or the number 5 seed, Burton Central High School, comes in with a record of 1-18. On the bottom side of the bracket, the 2 seed, Sedan High School, at 9-10, also drew a bye, so they will not play until Thursday night, time to be announced. And then number 3 seed, Chetopa, at 9-10, will play Buffalo Altoona Midway at Chetopa Monday. They're playing tonight, right now, and Buffalo Altoona Midway is 0-15 as the 6th seed. I'll get over to the boys' side for you as we get ready to get set back into the play here. The boys is a little different bracket because our boys, well, let's just start at 1. Number 1 seed is this is the wrong bracket. Next time out, I will go over the boys' action for you. As St. Paul starts with the basketball Jayhawk Linn with the basketball out of the timeout. And that is Brownback with the basketball. Watrick with the steal. Good pester and defense. And Watrick's fouled by Brownback. Wait a minute. She stepped on the line. I don't know how he seen that. He blew the whistle and Watrick was bumped before she ever went out of bounds. And then he calls her out of bounds and gives it back to the Lady Hawks. Dawson with the basketball, guarded by Gaiman, feeds it in to Coleman, back to Dawson. Up top, three-point shot by Gebauer, short, no good. Elise Doherty comes down with it. She moves the ball around, kicks it back to Watrick. Good rebound, and there's going to be a travel on Watrick as she tried to feed it all the way down the court to Bradshaw.
That's kind of unusual for Watrick to throw it before she comes across half court on us.
5:59 left to go in the ball game. 27-13, 14-point lead for the Lady Indians. Pretty good first couple minutes for the Lady Indians. Offensively, a lot better. And they have a 14-point lead. Shot on the way by Dawson, no good, out of bounds, and it's going to go to the Lady Indians. Doherty feeds it into Watrick. Watrick walks the ball across the free throw line towards half court. Taking her time, get across half court with the 14-point lead. Drives to right, boy. And that's going to be a block on Jayhawk Linn. That's going to be on Brownback as Carter, McCracken, Hutcherson, and Struthers all check into the game. They're going to leave Claire Bradshaw in on the floor with her. 5:42 left to go in the game. 27-13, 14-point lead for the Lady Indians. Feed into Hutcherson. Hutcherson crosses the timeline, feeds it to McCracken. McCracken lob inside Claire Bradshaw. Bradshaw's a couple ball fakes, loses it, and gets stolen away by Coleman. Feeds it back to Gebauer. Gebauer with it, down to the baseline. That's down to Carpenter. Carpenter feed inside, stolen away by Struthers.
Both teams have the turnover bug this half.
Struthers streaks down the right-hand side all the way into the lane. Shot up, no good, off the rim. Coleman with the rebound. Coleman feeds it back to Brownback. Brownback up by the timeline. Feeds it to Carpenter. Carpenter feeds it back to Coleman. Now shot on the way by Brownback. No good. Struthers with the rebound. Struthers slows down a little bit now. Feeds it down to Bradshaw at the right wing position. Bradshaw's ball fake drives towards the baseline. Now back up top. Picks her dribble up. In a little trouble. Finally gets it back to McCracken. Slapped on the hand pretty hard. Now to Carter. Now to the corner to Hutcherson. Hutcherson to the right, to the left. Kicks it out to McCracken. Long three-point shot. No good. High off the backboard. Backdoor rebound. Backside rebound by Gebauer for the Lady Hawks. 4:24 left to go in the game. St. Paul leads 27-13, up by 14. Gebauer with the basketball against Carter. Feeds it off to Brownback. Brownback holds it high. Looks inside. Now cross-court pass over to Carpenter. Carpenter back to Brownback. Drives towards the baseline. Now poked out of bounds by Claire Bradshaw. It will stay with Jayhawk Linn. In the game for Jayhawk Linn is Dawson and Nation. Emily Nation, number 11, the 5'9", sophomore. Carpenter set to put the ball in play for Jayhawk Linn. Looking. Now feeds it into Nation. Nation's guarded by Bradshaw. Feeds it down to the corner to Wilson. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Wilson against Emily Hutcherson. And it's going to give back to the Lady Indians. Just a little over halfway through the fourth quarter. 3:59 left to go in the game. Lady Indians still just lead by with a score of 27-13. Carter with it. Over to Bradshaw. Now up top to McCracken. McCracken over to Carter. Carter up top to Struthers. Struthers to McCracken, left wing. McCracken holds it. Now dribbles towards the free throw line. Now inside shot on the way. No good, but she's going to travel before she got the shot off. McGinnis checks in for Jayhawk Linn. So everybody turning the ball over here in this fourth quarter. Dawson feeds it into Carpenter, back to Dawson. She's going to be picked up at half court by Katie Carter by the timeline. Dawson feeds it off to Carpenter. Carpenter holds it, cross court pass to McGinnis. McGinnis to her left, Hutcherson on her. Bounce pass inside to Nation against Bradshaw. Shot up no good, but Bradshaw's going to get whistled for the foul. It's going to send Nation to the line to shoot two. 3:16 left to go in the game.
Well, they called that on Sydney McCracken. That's her third.
I didn't even see
I
Sydney.
don't think she was even close. But.
Around the ball. Nation shot on the way. Off the rim, no good. The Indians lead 27-13, 3:16 left to go in the ball game. Nation settles in for her second. It's on its way, and off the frame, no good. Struthers with the rebound. Good board by her. Good block out. Emerald Struthers with some nice rebounds in this ball game. She holds it. Now she picks up her dribble. Now she reverses it back over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw over to McCracken. McCracken up top to Carter. Carter to her right. Reverses it back to Hutcherson. Hutcherson loses it. Now she chases it down. Kicks it off to McCracken. St. Paul being very patient here on offense. Coons not in the game, so now Hutcherson loses it again, chases it down, hands it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw into the lane's got the lane. Shot up, no good, too hard. Knocked out of bounds off of McCracken and goes back to Jayhawk Linn. Claire had a chance. She should have turned the corner and went straight towards the basket. Instead, she threw up a pretty wide shot from outside the block, but she had the angle on the defender if she had just kept going in to draw the contact instead of avoiding it, and she just missed it too hard off the rim. Now whistle a timeout, Jayhawk Linn. We're going to stay here so we can go over the regional action on the boys' side here. It gives us a chance to do that. St. Paul leads here 27-13, 2:30 left to go in the game. On the boys' side of the action, Cedarville Dexter comes in at 17-2, the number one seed. They drew a bye in the opening round. They will play the winner of either Chitopa, who is the 4 seed at 5-14, or Central Burton, who is the 5 seed at also 5-14. Chitopa and Burton Central will play at Chitopa tomorrow night. On the bottom side of the bracket, Sedan comes in at 14-5 as a 2 seed, and they drew a bye against the 7 seed. St. Paul comes in as the 3 seed at 8-8. And they will play Buffalo Altoona Midway at 3-12 tomorrow night at St. Paul at 7 p.m. So the St. Paul boys got some work to do if they want to get through this regional, Mike, at Chitopa.
Well, and that's one of the things.
Girls and boys,
yeah,
but the boys' record size is.
We'll have to see. We've seen good and bad both on both parts of the boys, and if they can come out and play like we've seen them play on a good night, they're fully capable of taking that regional by all means. They're as good as anyone, but if they happen to show up and go cold on their shots like we've seen them do in the past, could be a tough road for them.
Now back to just one division in 1A, so we're back to the regional format where the top 2 out of every regional goes on to sub-state at either Emporia or El Dorado. So everybody remembers those days of going to Emporia or El Dorado. So the 2, you want to be a 1-seeder, you'll get matched against a 1 seed in sub-state, and then to get out of sub-state to go to state, you have to win sub-state. So much harder to get to state, being twice as many teams. Good interior pass into Claire Bradshaw, coming out of the timeout, and she scores from the right block, gives the Indians a 29-13 lead. Goodbye, back down with the basketball. That's all the regional action. So tomorrow night, pending the weather, we hope we can get it in 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Right back down comes Struthers, and she scores off the steal. And stay tuned on the game time tomorrow night, because I just got a text from one of the parents that said the game's at 5:30 now tomorrow. So it very well could have got moved up because of weather. So listen to Larry in the morning. I will find out for sure. I never received an email yet on that, but I will check. Listen to Larry on 95.3 or 105.5. We will go with the 5:30 game time tomorrow night at home, and I'm sure that's probably the case, moving those games up, trying to get in before the weather gets too bad. Gaming with the basketball. Feeds it off to Struthers. Struthers to her right. St. Paul now leads 31-13, 18-point lead by the Lady Indians, biggest lead of the game. Their defense has really held Jayhawk Linn in check. Carter with it, feeds it off to Doherty. Doherty up top to Bradshaw. 3 freshmen in the game for the Lady Indians and a couple sophomores. Whoops, bad pass as Doherty bobbed when she should have weaved, and Claire Bradshaw threw it out of bounds. Turnover goes back to the Lady Hawks. 1:03 left to go in the ball game. St. Paul leads 31-13. Stick around for our final game stats on a KW Trucking post-game show. Our title sponsor tonight and every night, live stream and everything, is Farmers Bank. Joe and Josh Smith and all the girls at the banks. Go see them for all your banking needs. Dawson tries to feed it into Coleman, knocked out of bounds by Claire Bradshaw. It'll stay with Jayhawk Linn. So tomorrow night, St. Paul plays at home. We're going to call it a 5:30 tip-off. Bauer with the basketball. Feeds it to Carpenter. That was Wilson, I guess she fed it to, and it's turnover or tipped away, and it ends up in Carter's hands. Katie Carter comes down the right side, slows things up now. Feeds it off to Struthers. Struthers stands out by the half-court line, drives to her right now. Now she's in a little bit of trouble with the dead ball situation, gives it back to Doherty. Jayhawk Linn still playing hard. Doherty down to the corner to Bradshaw. Bradshaw dribbles to her right against Coleman. Into the lane. Shot up. Oh, rims out. No good. Gets her own rebound. Now tied up and goes out of bounds. Oh, how's that out on Claire? It's going to end up being out on, she had it stripped out of her hands. It rolls out of bounds, but I guess Claire Bradshaw was the last one to touch it. And it comes right back to Gabar. This is the end of the ball game. 5 seconds left. Coleman with the last game or shot at the buzzer. No good. St. Paul Lady Indians are going to come out with a nice victory. 31-13. We'll be back with our KW Trucking post-game show and final game stats after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Everybody on the live stream, thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow night about 5:15, 5:30 for the boys' action as at game time got moved up. St. Paul Lady Indians will not play until Thursday night at Chitopa. Listen or check in on the school's website to see about a game time. We do not know what time that will be yet. Thanks, everybody, for watching us on live stream.